everyone. Sorry, was having issues with YouTube. So how are you doing today? How was your week? How are things going? So, Bentley is here. He is laying down on my lap for the moment, but I'm sure he'll make an appearance shortly. So today we're going to talk about forest bathing, or Shinri Neko, as the Japanese saying is. I believe I pronounced that correctly. So yes, forest bathing. No, it is not running through the forest naked with a towel. Though if that's what you want to do, no judgment here. So anyways, what is forest bathing? And actually, you may already be doing it and not even realize you're doing it. So I know we talked about meditation last week. This does kind of go hand in hand with meditation. To get started, let's see, forest bathing is a Japanese practice of inserting oneself in in an atmosphere of the forest, engaging all five senses to connect with nature. It offers a way to reduce stress and enhance overall well-being. So even if you're taking a hike or just going out sitting in nature, or at a lake, in a park, all that, forest bathing, because you're just taking in the surrounding, the moment. And when we talked about meditation last week, we talked about mindful meditation. And so mindful meditation is about being in the present moment. So when you're forest bathing or you're out in nature and you're taking in nature in that moment, it's a version of mindful meditation. So yes, because you're in that moment. But let's talk about what are the benefits of forest bathing. It is stress reduction and relaxation by lowering cortisol levels. It increases your parasympathetic activity. Mindful immersions makes you focus on the present moment, like I talked about in last week's video of meditation. It improves your mood and emotional well-being by reducing negative emotions, increasing positive emotions, and connecting with nature. And, a lot of you already know that by working with animals, you're still connecting with nature. It enhances cognitive function and mental clarity. So it reduces mental fatigue and it improves attention and focus. It gives you physical health benefits by lowering blood pressure and heart rate. It boosts your immune function and improves your sleep quality. Science backs this. I know you're a medical professional, you always like science to back it. So, research published in the Environmental Health and Preventative Medicine, it says it reduces your cortisol by up to 16% after just 20 minutes. So if that's the case, I know a lot of times you don't quite have the time to do this during the day at work, but depending on where you work, if you have a chance to walk outside for a minute, even if you need to go get something from your car, just to, or even if you have an opportunity to eat lunch outside. I know a lot of you don't. Also too, it depends on where your clinic is. So I get it. I'm not trying to push for that. I do understand that you necessarily don't even have time to eat. My husband has to eat while he works. So I totally get that. But what is also nice is he does at least have a view now where his office is. He has a view outside and it's a nice view. Sometimes he gets to see doggies and animals walk up and down the sidewalk. It's really nice, yeah, as you guys know. It's also been linked to better heart health and a deep down calm that no green smoothie can match. So I'm not throwing shade at a green smoothie by no means. If that's your thing, that's your thing. That's fine. But it's, again, medical research has showed that in forest bathing, a green smoothie cannot do the effects for you that a forest bathing can. Okay. So if you live out in nature or in the country, that's nice. Or even some big cities have it. Like, I know, you have Central Park in New York City. You have like Portland, Oregon is very interesting. The city has like pop-up, I call them pop-up forests everywhere. Like within the city, you could walk through these forests and you would never even remember that you're actually in a city. It's really nice. Some of them are kind of rainforesty, and it's amazing. I mean, you can drive 10, 15 minutes. Some places, depending on where you live right next to one. It's kind of one of the laws that they have in place that there has to be a park or something within every mile range. But they have a huge park in Portland. It kind of reminds me of the West Coast version of Central Park. But unlike Central Park, it actually has like a arboretum where you can walk through this forest, and it's a lot of trails and everything. So it's more walking through forest than Central Park is. And so, yes, they do have a zoo. The Oregon Zoo is right there in Central Park. They have an international test rose garden that I think there's like 5 in the country or 10 in the country. And then one of them is in Orangeburg, South Carolina, on the East Coast. But yes, they do have that also there. So it's really big. It's lovely. It's also interesting. Like I said, it's in the middle of the city, and you can be there and forget you're in the middle of a city. It's really interesting. But so, wonder if you live in a city that doesn't have this. Wonder if you don't have time to go to a park because you're so busy. I totally get it. You're too tired. I get it. There are solutions. You can bring it to you. How do you say that? All right. I highly recommend this book, Plant Therapy. It is by Dr. Katie Cooper. She's a psychologist, plant enthusiast, and business owner. She has a plant subscription service called Bloom Box Club. Bloom, BLOOM, Box, BOX Club. For all my plant lovers out there. Really interesting. I have a lot of Sean's colleagues, my husband's colleagues, have met. They love plants. They do a lot of plant shopping. Having plants around you is a good thing. It's the same concept as far as bathing. In this book, she talks about well-being of plants can generally be split into 4 distinct categories: environmental, psychological, cognitive, and affective. And she takes on each category one at a time, explaining its meaning and the research behind it. So I know, as you all like research, your scientific research, she talks about that. She breaks it down. There's plants that help with allergies, collect dust. There's plants that help with purifying the air. So yes, it gives you what different plants are, and of course the level of care that they need. Sometimes you don't have, time to do that, or you might not have a green thumb. My mom did not have a green thumb. She killed my bamboo plant. I was working on a cruise ship, so that's why she was taking care of it. And again, I love my mom to death, but how do you kill a bamboo plant? You just add water. I mean, even to some degree, sunlight. I mean, a lot of times I think some bamboo plants will actually last off of just regular lighting. So yes, but anyways, needless to say, it does give you the level of care that it needs, whether it's easy or hard. So that's nice, but also do, like, if there's other plants in your area, do research. I know if you have time, but make sure, like, a lot of times when you go to plant places, a lot of them know what they're talking about, you're talking about, but also make sure you know the different names for different plants, because each plant kind of has a different name. For instance, we were going to look for a mosquito plant. Now, I always known it as a mosquito plant. When I bought it, it was called a mosquito plant. Didn't even really think about what kind of plant specifically it was. So when we went to the plant shop, I was like, oh, mosquito plant. And the girl was like, I've never heard of that. And I'm like, looking it up, I'm like, oh, it's a citronella plant. And the girl's like, oh, well, duh, I should have thought of that. Like, that makes sense. It's a citronella plant, right? So no fault to her by no means, in a sense, because even in your specialty, someone comes in and you're so used to these technical terms and different things it's called, they may say something else that you're not used to hearing it that way, because you specialize in veterinary medicine. So if they come in and say something, it takes a minute to realize what they could be talking about, or what an owner may be describing or thinks a seizure isn't a seizure. I remember one time a good friend of ours at the time had called us up. The husband was out of town, the wife was in town. They had a German Shepherd, and they called us up concerned because they thought their dog had a seizure, wasn't acting right, and they called Sean. We went over, and as soon as Sean saw her, like, he just relaxed, because it was like, no, it was vertigo. And so it wasn't, so my point being that sometimes, when you're in that profession and somebody isn't, and they're looking for something specific or saying something specific, that it's not what you're used to hearing. It's a little different. So that's what I said. Make sure if you're looking for a certain type of plant, do research, see if you can find different names for it, because someone may know it as a different name versus than what you know it, and might not have heard how you know it. So yes, sorry, all of that, my soapbox. Anyways, but yeah, so having plants in your house can help, also, help with your mood, help keep you calm, relax you as well. So it kind of gives you a similar effect to forest bathing. Granted, the difference between with them being in your house versus you being out in nature is you don't have the lovely animals that come through, wildlife, but also you still have your distractions in your house. Like, you still have your phone, you still have your TV, and all of that, or different things that could distract you, whereas you wouldn't have that in nature if you go off grid. Now, I would say, if you have parks and stuff in your, or trails, you can go hiking in your city. If not, there's also, like, maybe if you go on vacation somewhere, depending on where you go, maybe it's something you should try. There are places that do hikes for forest bathing. There's guides, they do meditation. Like, they'll go somewhere and do meditation and forest bathing. Or, even if you go a hike on yourself, I mean, it's nice. Just make sure that, like, put your cell phone on, like, no distractions. Like, I would say put your cell phone on vibrate, but if you want to go off grid and feel comfortable doing that, go completely off grid, like nothing, So yes, there's definitely benefits to it. It is healing, and it does help with burnout, especially if you're experiencing burnout, and also it helps prevent burnout. So that's the whole concept around this. And like I said, a lot of this you may already be doing it. I'm just here to like confirm that you're doing what you should be doing to help with that. It does help with that. And sometimes that's all we need is that confirmation that we're doing that. So, yes. One other thing, too. Any of you Grey's Anatomy people out there, fans? Yes, I'm a Grey's Anatomy fan. Go ahead, laugh at me, roll your eyes, whatever. But it's still, I remember one season, and I wish they hadn't stopped this. You know how like shows, they'll start on one thing and then they'll stop it. A lot of times I know it's for budget reasons or whatever, or sometimes too, the writers just forget or you get new writers in there. But they actually had, I think maybe it was for a season or whatever, they had a plant therapy room where the doctors went in, and it was like kind of going into like a rainforest, or say a plant therapy forest bathing room. The room was set up kind of like a rainforest that had plants and everything in it, and it had like a couple of recliners that they can go in and sit and relax and take it in. And so yeah, it was, of course it was really interesting because again, like a lot of this stuff is starting to come out and become more popular now. And I mean, these are things that have been doing for years. People have been doing for, So yes, if you don't want to believe me, believe Grey's Anatomy. Just kidding. So yes, you can look it up, scientific research, forest bathing, burnout. There was a couple of journal pieces in there. There is one doctor, oh goodness, his name is, I can't remember his name offhand. But there is a doctor who has been studying this for many, many years, the effects of forest bathing. She does talk about that in the plant therapy book as well. But yes. So with that being said, buy some plants. There you go. I'm giving you a reason to buy more plants. If you want a reason to buy more plants, go on a hike, go out in nature, enjoy nature. I mean, even if it's just sitting on water and surrounded by trees. My dad, he used to hunt. For those who don't agree with deer hunting, he only killed bucks. You have to have doe tags. He definitely made sure that the animal did not feel pain. Clean shot. If any kids that were there didn't respect, he made sure they understood to respect the animals. He also, their meat never went wasted. So whatever the guys on the hunting club didn't take home, they fed to, they gave to a family in need. So definitely, it is what I like to call respectable hunting. But he a lot of times, like, it wasn't about the killing of the deer. It was just about going to sit in the woods. Like, that was his favorite thing to do, was just to sit in the woods. Growing up, I remember my dad would go out fishing all night, and he would go sit next to the water and just sit there. And again, it wasn't even about catching the fish. It was just sitting in nature and just rejuvenating. And, of course, at the time, we didn't use the word rejuvenating or getting, recharging or anything like that, because it was so new age at the time. But yeah, I mean, it's, it helps. That's, so definitely take advantage of that. And if you're already doing it, keep doing it. This is your confirmation. If you're not doing it, this is your, hey, go and do it, So that being said, I will let you guys go have fun, enjoy nature. If there's anything that you do or you think of that kind of gets you out in nature, forest bathing, put it in the comments. So also remember, if you need someone to talk to, a peer-to-peer, you have Lifeboat through NOMV, Not One More Vets. you also have, if you need to talk to someone immediately, you can dial 988 or text them. Or you can text home to 741-741. So please, if you need to, save these numbers in your phone, mark it however you need to know what you can recognize them if you need it. All right. Till then, stay safe, guys, and take care of them animals for me. All right. And thanks for watching.